Okay, so let's move on in terms of things such as the internet, new media. You started islandrecords.co.uk.
Yeah, I was a very early adopter in the internet. I had a great friend, still have a great friend, Willie Henschel, who was the lead guy in a band called London Beat. Nothing to do with Ireland, I didn't sign him. He's just one of my great friends. And he'd had this huge hit, I've Been Thinking About You, which made him a lot of money. And he started investing in internet companies in sort of early 1990s. And he really switched me on personally to what the power of the internet was and where it could take us. And he was a visionary, is a visionary. He got it right. He dragged me kicking and screaming down to see how this thing worked effectively. And I got it instantly. And I bought island.co.uk. I used the Island Records building refurbishment budget because there was no budget for building a website. So I kind of scraped money out of the Island refurbishment budget, didn't spend money on repainting the outside of the building and spent it on building a website in 1995 or 4 or something like that. And it was categorically the first major website for a music company in the UK, maybe even one of the first in the world, frankly. I was also, I think, the first major label in the UK to sell records via the website. Got into all sorts of deep shit with retailers, including having HMV pull all the new releases for the whole of Universal off the shelves because they were so incensed by the fact that I was selling a few, Bob Marley deep back catalogue from our website. So I was a kind of pioneer of it very early on. I used the U2 fan base to help us decide the track listing on the U2 best ofs. I really used the internet in an innovative way early on, in a way that everybody uses now, and pretty proud that I was able to spot it.
In saying that, the internet's also had its own issues in terms of illegal downloading, MP3s. What's your take on stuff to do with illegal downloads and music?
Well, the internet is just, there's such a massive blessing about it. It's blessed all of our lives in many respects, but also with it come the downside. And the problem we've got with the internet is that theft really is theft. People mostly don't steal milk bottles off the doorstep of a house. It's there, it's available to be stolen at 6 o'clock in the morning. It's you can nick it easily without anybody coming after you. And if you get caught, you're not going to get prosecuted for stealing a bottle of milk. But at the end of the day, there's a whole chain of people in that bottle of milk, from the bottling plant right down to the farmer that milked the cow, that is being stolen from, basically. And that's what's going on in the music industry. 70p download is just 70p to most people. But the reality of a 70p download, when you actually put it into the billions that it actually is in downloading, is very, very difficult. It's very stark. And it has a major effect on consumers. You don't realise that when people steal music, that in fact it's limiting consumer choice, because the record companies are now running so scared that they have now, I think, become incredibly conservative in their signings. It's tough to see how a major label would go for a PJ Harvey or a Massive Attack or a Tricky or a Stereo MCs or a Nine Inch Nails or an Ice Cube or an NWA or any of the things that I worked on. Nowadays, they're much more likely to go for things that are going to hit the middle ground. They're guaranteed to get on Radio 1 or Radio 2 first attempt. They're limited to only one album before they drop an artist. If it doesn't work on the first album, it's gone. All those things have happened because the record company has had to become more conservative, because this is an industry that, when I left the organised part of it and became a manager, when I left in 2000, was doing $40 billion worth of recorded music. It's now 17 billion. It's less than half. And that affects consumer choice. It's made the world of music poorer for it, because there just simply aren't players there that are prepared to take risks. So you're getting blander music.
How does that actually affect, on a financial level, if you're an artist today, are the deals structured differently because the revenue coming in is less, or in terms of publishing, is it affecting the publishing?
It's affecting absolutely everything. About 5 years ago, publishing companies seemed pretty robust. It seemed like they weren't as affected. But now they're beginning to see the mechanical income, the income that comes from the physical sale of records, drop off. So it's become as difficult to get a publishing deal now as it is to get a record deal. You know, it used to be that publishers would take risks earlier. They still do sometimes, but not very often. And so what we're finding is that publishing deals are becoming more and more difficult to get. Obviously, record companies are now in a much stronger buying position because there are so few people actually able to sign an artist. So what we're finding is that 360 degrees are becoming more prevalent. Doesn't mean they're the right thing to do. It just means that record companies can get away with it because if there isn't much competition to sign an artist, you can push an artist into signing anything.